Welcome back, guys, to GComp IT Services. It's so great to have you guys back here for a brand new video and a tech update on some awesome news like Microsoft, Apple, or many others out there. Let's get started. Let's get out there. So guys, coming back to the secure PC chip that we just spoke about, Microsoft is actually developing a brand new PC chip with Intel and AMD's help so that they can secure Windows and make it even harder to get into. So the Pluton Security Processor will give the software giant an even more prominent role in locking down Windows hardware. So this Pluton Security software is actually, or the security chip, actually going to be built in all three of like AMD, Intel, or even Qualcomm's processors. So there's a lot of things that's going on with this processor. There's a lot of information. It's actually very exciting what they're working with, so they can lock down Windows for hackers not to get in easily. The most sensitive parts of your computer have come to life in a distinct hardware component known as Secure Enclave. These chips are designed not only to keep hackers from accessing your system crown jewels, but to establish a root of trust, running cryptographic checks to ensure that no hacker has maliciously altered them historically. Companies like Intel, AMD, and Qualcomm have developed their own versions of these protective tools, but now Microsoft is partnering with all three of these companies to create a new, awesome and secure chip aimed at bringing enhanced security to Windows masses. It's early days still, but the idea is that eventually the Microsoft Pluton Processor will come standard with mainstream CPUs as part of a system on a chip. And Intel is already working on that with Microsoft so they can develop the top security for Windows. Microsoft's goal with the Pluton is to make root or trust protections ubiquitous despite the diverse range of manufacturers who license its operating system. They write the code of Pluton, but it also works with Intel or others to get it signed and delivered, so there are few people involved and the PC is going to be more secure for it. The fact that Microsoft designed a processor and Intel is putting it into the CPU, that's like a head exploding concept. Yeah guys, so this is quite exciting how they're developing this Pluton processor, because we know the issues, the potential issues with Windows, that there's always exploits, there's always been the security problem, and security all over has just become an overall issue where hackers and malware is always coming ahead of us because it's always been rewritten, and then obviously the security industry has to catch up with all the new security threats and trends and all kinds of things out there. But this is an absolutely great approach by working a chip into a CPU, working with all the CPU companies, just getting something great out there to up the security, up the AMP, get the security out there, just make it much more easier for Windows systems to get locked down so that hackers can't get access to the information, sensitive data, even businesses, companies. And I think it's actually a brilliant approach what they're doing here. So I'm just going to quickly show you guys a little photo of just how they're going to do it with the Pluton security system, and then you guys can see how it's going to look, what the chip's going to do. So here's one of the photos over here. So as you see here, a chip to cloud security, the Windows OS, a Pluton Security Processor and the Microsoft firmware, and then the SoC security subsystem integrated on a die security. And then obviously that's your system on chip there. There's your CPU cores, and so that's just a small idea of what you can see of how it's going to basically work. Yeah, so many things ahead for the future for Microsoft and the new Pluton processor. I think it's going to be really awesome, you know. And yeah, no, they say the new processor is going to be like Xbox security, almost like Xbox like security for Windows PCs. Let's have a look here what they say about this Xbox like security. The new chip's designed to block new and emerging attack vectors that are being used to compromise PCs, including CPU security flaws like Spectre and Meltdown. Intel revealed back in 2018 that it was actually redesigning its processors to protect against future attacks, and Pluton is an even bigger step in securing CPUs and Windows PCs in general. And I so agree with that. Just a few weeks ago or a month or two ago, we were actually speaking about the potential issues with security and how many problems it's just causing, and now there's already great steps being taken. I did not expect it for the Pluton processor that's going to be a system on a chip, and you know, I think it's just going to be absolutely great. So we can expect many things from from this chip coming out. Existing TPMs are separated from CPUs, and attackers have also been developing methods to steal the data and information that flows between TPU and CPU when they have physical access to a device. Just like you can't easily hack into an Xbox One to run pirated games, the hope is that it will be a lot more difficult to physically hack into a Windows PC in the future by integrating Pluton into the CPU. So we shipped the Xbox, which has this physical attack protection, so people can't just hack it for games, etc., explains David Weston, Director of Enterprise and OS Security at Microsoft. We learned principles of effective engineering strategies from that, and we're so taking those learning and partnering with the Intel to build something for the PC that will stand up to the emerging tech vector. This is brilliant. So just reading a bit of this, you can just see how great this is really going to be and how this is going to help businesses and companies and so many people starting out there having computers when it comes to attacks and all kinds of things that hackers are trying to do. So what a great step. So much ahead, and I can't wait to read more about this, the Pluton processor and what it's going to do, what we can see already here, but just to get more information. So a number of firms sell kits or zero-day vulnerabilities that let attackers gain access to machines and literally crack open PCs to steal critical data that can unlock other ways to get into company systems or access personal information. Our dream for the future is that it's just not possible on the PC platform, says Weston. And I actually agree with that. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. Pluton is essentially the evolution of the TPM backed directly into a CPU. So yeah, there we have it, guys. Just a bit of information there regarding that. And you know, I'm just thinking about it. This is a better, stronger, faster, and more consistent TPM. You know, explains well, as Weston explains, they will provide the same APIs as TPM today. So the idea is that anything that can use a TPM could use this. That means features like BitLocker encryption or Windows Hello authentication will transition over to using Pluton in the future. So that transition is going to be the key points in getting the security upped and getting it upgraded and just amping up the security so much more. Maybe there will even be less updates, but there will still be so much greater security, and it's just going to help so much for so many users. Pluton will be updated from the cloud. So Pluton is going to be updated. So it seems like they're going to be updating it from the cloud, and updates will be issued monthly on the same patch Tuesday that regular Windows fixes arrive. So the same with Windows fixes, it will be on Tuesday, which is a great thing, and it all comes together. The hope is that this should improve system firmware updates for both consumers and businesses that run Windows PCs. Exactly just what I said, and that's the key point there. That's why we need that. So it's not clear when PCs with Pluton chips will start shipping, but Intel, AMD, and Qualcomm are committing to build the functionality into the future CPUs. Still be able to build custom PCs with Pluton chips embedded inside, and there should even be support for Linux in the future too. Great stuff. You know, the flexibility of this, and just to see that they want to bring compatibility for almost anything, any OS there for the Pluton security. I think that is just even so much more exciting and just so much better. And it's just it brings interest into it, and it makes people curious because you want to make it compatible as possible so that you can almost make everything secure, but not just Windows, but you know, try and make it big as possible. Try and bring the security on top of the notch as possible so that hackers can battle even more, so they can struggle even more, and potentially bring them down so that they don't even do those things anymore. And that's what we want. We want to be ahead. We want to be one step ahead in security. Security vendors, security software companies, everyone wants to be one step ahead with security, not one step behind. And this is one of the things that I think that would be great working towards in the future, to bringing security one step ahead again. And yeah, what a great thing to see. So yeah, this is a future thing that they're going to be building, and it's just going to be fantastic. So Linux would be one of them. A bunch of different other maybe you know, OSs and vendors, but Linux will definitely support this. Microsoft already uses Linux with Pluton in its Azure Sphere devices, so it's likely to be available whenever these chips ship. New chips and security do mean new fears about DRM, and the fact that processors will now call back to Microsoft Cloud infrastructure for updates. This is about security, it's not about DRM. explained to Weston, this really will create an API where people can leverage it. It's definitely possible for folks to use that for protection of content, but this is really about mainstream security. Microsoft, Intel, AMD, and Qualcomm all clearly believe that the processors that are continually updated with security built into them is the future for Windows PCs. Spectre and Meltdown were a wake-up call for the entire industry, and Pluton is a significant response to the complex security threats that modern PCs now face. So yeah, that's actually fantastic. The idea now is to bring that same technology with some improvements to new Windows 10 devices, because there has to be improvements as well. There has to be updates as well. So because bugs are a thing, compatibility is a thing. You know, it's so easy for anything to jump out of order, anything to just not work altogether. And we've seen that in the past. We've seen how things just don't work exactly as you want them when updates start coming out or patches start coming out and they're not really patched very well, or there was mistakes made with patches, or even with game updates. We see that many times with stutters or glitches or things that need to be fixed. And that's something that always, unfortunately, will show itself, but it can definitely be worked on and be made better. Whether or not Pluton chip can stand the test of time is another matter. Most of the chip vulnerability research has been done by third-party researchers through extensive and often tedious work. Microsoft Weston said the Pluton chip has undergone a security stress test by its own internal red team and by external vendors. So guys, there's a great, fantastic news update on the Microsoft Pluton processor and what it's going to do in the future. And I think, wow, I think that's a step up in security. I think that's something that people can join in and amp themselves up to, and and Microsoft just give some ideas. Just get the security updates out there, and just get talking about it. So that Microsoft can stay up to date with what they need to do, and just get the word out there as well about the new Pluton processors, so that people also can start updating in businesses as soon as they can. Because the quicker they know about it, the quicker your business knows about it, the quicker anybody knows about these new Pluton processors and when they come out and when they're going to be updating in the future, the better it's going to be for everyone. I think it's going to be a fantastic future for security ahead. Guys, see you in a next security update. I hope you guys enjoyed this video from Chicom Body Services and that it helped you, and I hope you learned something here that you can implement into your business or implement anywhere that you're going. If you're an IT guru, if you're an IT company, whoever you are, I hope this is going to really help you. And cheers for now. Sub to our channel. Cheers for now.